Well, Stranger Things is officially over. The fan base has been split in two, the Duffer Brothers are getting brutally massacred on social media, everything is a bit of a mess. And amongst all this controversy, I've been reflecting a lot on the show overall, and more importantly, its characters. I've made several videos about Season 5 on this channel, and you'll know that I have been pretty damn mixed on it overall. But at the end of the day, the heart of Stranger Things is its cast, and well, I have pretty conflicting opinions on the characters in this show. So in today's video, I will be going through every single character in Stranger Things 5 and ranking them from best to worst on a tier list. That's right, it's 2019 all over again. For clarity, I will only be talking about characters who appear in Stranger Things 5, but I will be ranking them on how consistently good they've been throughout the whole show. For example, if a character starts off really good in Season 1 and then gets worse with time, then I'll work out an average tier to put them in. Anyway, if you're new around here, please do hit subscribe. Over 80% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed, which is a crazy metric. So if you are new around here, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed to see content about your favorite movies, TV shows, and more. Let's get into this. I'm just going with the order that Tiermaker has these characters in, meaning that first up, we're starting strong with goddamn delightful Derek. As I've said before, I don't think anybody expected Derek to be so good in Season 5, but we were all proven wrong. His character was genuinely funny, contributed to the plot, and Jake Connolly is hilarious. I mean, this dude somehow won an arm wrestle with Vecna to save Holly Wheeler, and then maybe started dating her a year later? We don't know that for sure. But either way, what a fucking debut performance from the rookie. Great character, I'm gonna chuck him an 8 here. Jonathan's next up, and this character is one that I feel quite strongly about. I think Jonathan may have been my favorite character in Season 1, maybe second to Hopper. The way he is written is so deeply compelling. An eldest son who at the age of 16 has to step up and be the one to work out the details of his younger brother's funeral because his dad is an abusive deadbeat and his mom is an anxious wreck. That is fucking heartbreaking, and Charlie Heaton does great at conveying this. However, as the show goes on, Jonathan gets more and more surface level with every season, and by the time you get to Season 4, his only character trait is, dude, I get high all the time, because like I miss my girlfriend, dude. And as I've talked about, I didn't love his arc with Nancy in Season 5 either, so it pains me to say, but on average, Jonathan is probably like a C-tier character. Sorry, buddy. Joyce is another character that definitely gets weaker as the show goes on. She's kind of the beating heart of Season 1, as back then, she was the Duffer Brothers' greatest selling point. They used Winona Ryder to her full capabilities, and it's crazy to see how much her relevance drops in every subsequent season. She has a nice romance with Hopper in Season 3, and then in Season 4, she goes on this bizarre subplot in Russia to rescue him, which is cool, but also, how the fuck did Joyce Byers get here, bro? And then she basically does nothing in Season 5 other than be anxious about Will and forget she has another child completely. So yeah, let's just say B tier for now. Karen is a weird one because she is fucking awesome. Like, Cara Buono plays this role to perfection, and she is so badass in Season 5. I loved seeing her come into the limelight for once. However, she shouldn't be alive. I was so angry when both Karen and Ted somehow survived the Demogorgon attack in Episode 2. Like, we all know that this show has a serial problem when it comes to killing off characters, but Christ, I at least expected them to let Ted and Karen go. They're like C-list characters at best. Imagine how good that would have been for Nancy and Mike's character arcs this season, but nope, they're absolutely fine. So essentially, Karen shouldn't be here, but the stuff that she does after still being here is really good. So I'm gonna give her A tier, but I'm not happy about it, okay? Not fucking happy. Dr. K is just very fucking boring and a real waste of Linda Hamilton's talents. I mean, she could have been a really cool and fun addition to the cast, but all she does is chase after Elle and then fumble every single time she comes into close contact with her. Like, seriously, every time. She's just impressively one-dimensional, and there's really nothing to say here. D tier. Dustin, on the other hand, now Dustin is S tier. I love Dustin so much. He's my second favorite overall character in the show because he is just so consistent. Even when the writing has somewhat faltered, Dustin has not, and that is mainly down to the impeccable talent of Gaten Mazzarato, who I also just found out has the voice of an absolute goddamn angel. Is there anything this man can't do? Dustin is simultaneously the smartest character and the funniest at the same time, and that's not an easy balance to strike, but it's pretty seamless when it comes to him. In Season 5, his grief over Eddie is heart-wrenching, and while a lot of people didn't like it and found it a bit cringe, I thought that it was a very logical progression of his character, and ending his story by having him fulfill Eddie's graduation wishes in his own valedictorian speech is just beautiful. Great character, even better actor, Dustin easily claims S tier. tier. Erica isn't fucking great. I'm sorry, nothing against the actress. She seems lovely, but Erica has always been a real nothingness character to me. She's a bit annoying, never has enough screen time to justify her being there, but also always has too much screen time to the point where it starts to take away from other characters. It's a really weird mixture she has. I don't know, she's not terrible, but she just doesn't work for me at all, to be honest, so I'll put her in C. Hopper's up next, and I do really love this character. Similarly to Dustin, a large part of the reason why this character worked is the actor. David Harbour brings his absolute all to this role, and the writing is great too, especially in those early seasons. Him being lifted out of his rut that he's been in due to the death of his daughter by helping Joyce find her own son, redeeming himself in some way as he feels responsible for Sarah's death. It's all very beautiful. He did have that weird chapter in season 3 where he kind of got lobotomized, but I really liked him in season 4 and 5 as well, because every time he's on screen with Eleven, I just can't help but fall in love with their dynamic. I'll give him A tier. That seems fitting. Hey everyone, Editing Sam here. You may realize that I have completely forgotten to talk about Holly Wheeler. So, I guess I'll do that quickly. Yeah, Holly for me is definitely S tier. I talked extensively about why Holly was my favorite character in season 5, specifically in my finale review, and I absolutely stand by that statement. Her character arc is super moving, being a child so overwhelmed of her circumstances, but confronting her own fears and even helping others confront theirs, becoming a leader like Nancy, Mike, and Max. It's just great. I love that in the ending, she is the one to carry the torch and introduce her friends to D&D, essentially making them the next generation. She's just a very well-written character, and Nell Fisher is just delightful, really talented, and I'm very happy this role happened to her. I'm so excited to see what she does next because yeah, she killed this role. Lucas is a great character too. I love his relationship with Max so much, as you'll know if you've watched any of my Stranger Things content. I love how much he cares about her and how he'd do anything to protect her, and especially in the early seasons, he's also just so funny. I kind of wish he had a bit more of an arc outside of Max though. Like, it feels like in later seasons there's not a whole lot else to him, which is fine because his connection with Max is so good, but yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of a personal arc for him. Still though, good character. I'll chuck him an A tier. Speaking of Max, look, you already know I love her by now. She's a very precious character to me, but I have a hot take that I've thought about a lot since my last video. She should have died in season 4.
Whoa, hey.
Like, I love that she and Lucas got a happy ending in season 5. I really do, and I think it's cool that she was a part of Holly's story, but to me, it kind of seems like the only reason they kept her alive is A, the Duffers are scared to let any of their main cast go, as we know, and B, they needed another character for Holly to interact with in Henry's mind, and C, they needed an excuse to play Kate Bush again so that we could all react like this. Max's arc in season 4 is the best one in the entire show, by far, and had me bawling my eyes out. I just think it would have been really impactful if the show let her go then, because she just doesn't really do a whole lot for me in season 5. I'm sorry. Also, how the fuck can Elle just resurrect her? That's a power she has now, but never uses again. Didn't think to use that on Carly or something. No. Alright. Max is still A tier though, don't get me wrong, but if we had left her in season 4, she would have been S. Mike is another character I have a real soft spot for, who's also been through a very weird journey. In earlier seasons, he was great. A leader figure for the party who had a real empathetic nature to him, and then by the time you get to season 4, he doesn't do anything. I've talked about how much I hate the California Crew storyline before, and Mike is no exception to that. All he does is give an admittedly good speech to Elle in the finale, but other than that, he is just irrelevant. What I like about season 5 is that it puts Mike back in his leader boots, allowing him to inspire people and protect the new generation of children. It was really great. But what I don't like about him in season 5 is that he seems to lack a lot of emotion that he should have. So much of what Vecna does in season 5 directly affects Mike. He incapacitates his parents, kidnaps his baby sister, and Mike just kind of just doesn't give a fuck. He just kind of gets on with it, and that's a shame because Mike used to be a really sensitive character. He only really gets emotional at the end when Eleven dies, but that's about it. I'm gonna chuck him in B tier because, I don't know, I feel pretty mixed about him overall. Murray is another character just full of nothingness to me. I liked his smaller role in season 2, playing matchmaker for Nancy and Jonathan. I didn't mind him getting a bigger role as the show went on, but in season 5, he just actually doesn't do anything. Like, he's there all the time in a lot of scenes, but all he does is drop painfully unfunny one-liners and do one kind of cool thing with a grenade in the finale, but there's just not a whole lot to justify his existence. C tier. Nancy is cool. Again, I didn't like how her story with Jonathan ended, especially their stupid and poorly written breakup scene, but I do like her character quite a bit, especially in seasons 1 and 2, but again, as seems to be the case for a lot of these characters, she loses a lot of depth as the show goes on, and that's the price of having such a painfully big cast and not killing anyone, Duffer Brothers. But no, she's really cool, like a badass, but I just wish she had a few more of those layers that she had earlier on in the show. Solid B tier for me though. Robin is a really weird one, because a lot of people say that she got lobotomized after season 3, but I don't really think so. She's different in season season 4, sure, but it seems like a natural progression of her character as she feels more comfortable in being herself and accepting her true personality. Season 5, now that feels like a lobotomy. She is so dorky and jittery this time round, like seemingly out of nowhere. It's really weird. I don't get where this choice came from in the writing room. Her bond with Will is awesome, and I love seeing her be a big part of his story. Plus her relationship with Vicky is cute, but in terms of the character herself, I don't know. Steve, I'm sorry, right? I really am. But he just is the best character in the show. Like, realistically, if you sit down and think about it, there's just no competition. One of the rare cases where the hype that this character gets is entirely justified. Joe Keery is nothing short of iconic in this role, and much like Dustin, even when the writing of the show falters, Steve stays amazing. I actually think that Steve and Dustin are such incredible characters that it's kind of impossible to write them badly, especially when it comes to their dynamic together. Their arc in season 5 was incredible. It was one of the highlights for me. Their tension was real, and their motivations both made a lot of sense. Also, Steve has probably had the best development out of any character in the show too, so yeah, just amazing. I love him so much, and my god, Joe Keery's music slaps too. I'm not playing it though, because I want money from this video. Next we have Mr. Clark. And take back everything I said, because he is the best character in the entire show. The scene where he soloed Vecna and told him it's physics time was just, oh my god, cinema. The absolute MVP. He gets a new tier just for him. Anyway, then we have Ted Wheeler, who is another member of the God tier. The scene where he soloed Vecna and said it's cheering time was crazy. Vecna's a great character. He is terrifying in season 4 and performed by the wonderfully talented Jamie Campbell Bower. And despite the fact that he's pretty, well, incompetent in season 5, I'm happy that we get to really learn more about his backstory and delve into why he is who he is as a person. The extent to which the Mind Flayer has influence over him and how much of his decision making is really down to his ideals and worldview, it's all very complex, and I love seeing him as a villain. Easy A tier for sure. Will Byers, as I'm sure you'll know by now, my opinion on his character is kind of a journey in itself. I kind of actively hated Will prior to season 5 because, despite knowing the context of why he seems so out of place in the show, he was still just doing nothing, and regardless of context, it's still boring to watch. But season 5 not only puts Will at the forefront of the story again, but recontextualizes his role in season 3 and 4, by finally having characters in universe, particularly Vecna, acknowledge that he is out of place. I talk about it more in this video. It's kind of difficult to delve into in a short segment like this. But yeah, either way, I really liked Will in season 5. He's going into A tier for now, and I think that's pretty fair. 11. Oh boy, another character that I have very strong opinions on. I've always loved Eleven, and aside from her weird little side quest arc in season 2, I thought that she was a pretty consistent character. But I really actively hate what the Duffer Brothers did with her in season 5, particularly her ending, or should I say, endings. Ugh. I won't go through it all in this video because I did a whole 5-minute segment dedicated to it in my finale video, so please go check that out. But yeah, in short, I just think the way that her story wraps up is lazy and a total disservice to the very emotional journey that she's been on for the last 10 years. Still though, her role in earlier seasons is so deeply iconic and rooted in the show's DNA that I can't put her any lower than a B, but yeah, I may have considered putting her an S prior to season 5, so just goes to show how much I hate that fucking ending. And speaking of hatred, it seems we're finishing with the worst character in the show, Carly. Why the fuck are you here? What is the point in bringing back Carly if you're going to have her be totally and utterly useless, die in the least climactic way possible, give her no arc or personality traits, and just use her as a plot device for Elle to have the worst possible ending in the show? Genuinely, what a waste of a character and screen time. I thought that when they were bringing her back, the Duffers were going to do something crazy with her to undo the hatred that people had towards her back in season 2, but nope. She's 10 times more annoying than the Lost Sister episode and 10 times more pathetic and useless. Stupid character, doesn't even deserve D tier. Have fun in the deepest, darkest reaches of hell, Carly. Anyway, that is every single Stranger Things 5 character ranked. It's a real mixed bag, but honestly, the characters are what makes this show so special, and we can't ever forget that. Be sure to leave your ranking of the Stranger Things characters in the comments down below. I can't wait to read all your guys' thoughts and tell you why you're completely wrong. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please do subscribe to this channel and my Reacts channel, which should be on the screen right now, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye.